Hello and welcome to round 3 of the Andros Trophy. We're in Isola 2000. We're high in the Alpes-Maritimes of France, about 90 minutes north of Nice. Icy and cold conditions make it perfect for racing. On the menu today, we'll start with the action from the elite final. These are the amateur drivers who share the cars with professionals, so they need to keep them all in one piece. Then the electric race final with special guests Karine Galli and Stéphane Plaza, French TV host, and the elite pro class with electric versus petrol engine cars. We'll see Super Pole and the Super Final. Before we get into action though, let's take a look at the track with Dorian Boccalacci. It starts from the start-finish line with an almost never-ending long right-hander. Now this tightens up right towards the end and then turns back in on itself, so inside the snail shell. Therefore, of course, we're going now long left-handed, tighter though than the first corner. Well, then there's a sharp left-hander onto the back straight. You can see the map in front of you. We've gone through the top left part and then essentially back straight, long right-hand corner, and then a straight on the return. So we're top right on the map now, coming back down towards bottom left of that map. And then the long two apex right-hander that ends the lap, and across the start-finish line here, and that's a lap of Isola 2000. Cars on the grid, ready for the elite super final. Dorian Boccalacci on pole in his BMW, ahead of Margot Laffite's Mazda. On row 2 is Lionel Daziano, the Audi A1 Quattro driver, won the opening race weekend. Manuel Moinel alongside him in the Renault Captur. And on row 3 it's another Audi. Louis Gervasson lines up in 5th position with Sylvain Poussier's Peugeot beside him. Number 2 car is in 6th spot. Then Stéphane Van in his Peugeot 3008 and Jerome Lopez with the BMW on row 4 of the grid. Nice still conditions, cold, icy and nice and clear as we get ready to go. Pole position on the right hand side as we look at it, left hand side as they face us. Dorian Boccalacci with the BMW, clearly the BMW relishing the tight twisty track here. Good start to get away ahead of Margot Laffite. She cuts off the nose of Lionel Daziano. He's in 3rd, Daziano the grey and red Audi. Then up to 4th place is Emmanuel Moinel from 4th on the grid. Little change behind. Louis Gervasson, Sylvain Poussier, Stéphane Van battling away, but out front, Dorian Boccalacci, BMW M2. And there in 3rd place is Lionel Daziano, the first of the Audis. Margot Laffite in the showers of ice crystals. This is going to make visibility a little tricky. Car's really digging in deep with all the tiny inch-long studs on the tyres and throwing up massive clouds of ice crystals and snow. And that means for Dorian Boccalacci, life is very straightforward. He can see where he's going. Everybody else might be a little touch and go, and in fact there is a bit coming off Daziano's Audi. He's made contact. Louis Gervasson up to 4th, ahead of Stéphane Van. Lopez up to 6th position from 8th on the grid in his BMW. There's that battle. The grey Audi with the green highlights in 5th position. And there's our race leader, Dorian Boccalacci. Margot Laffite lost in the middle, and the cars are spreading out now. 3rd place, Lionel Daziano, flapping bits of the right-hand front wing. He's already lost some of it. You can see the headlight is damaged as well. These cars are real tube frame specials. They've got a space frame and body panels hung on them to make them look like the cars that they are representing. See bits of Daziano's car there. And that might lead to a little bit of an overheating problem as well. Manuel Moinel in 4th place there. Louis Gervasson in 5th with the green highlights, lime green on his Audi. He's trying to close down the car in front. And in the tight corners, that's more possible. Not just because the speeds are low, but also because the cars are throwing the ice crystals out more behind them. On the straights where you really need the visibility to see the upcoming corners, it's making life very tricky indeed for everybody except Dorian Boccolacci. You see all these cars have got wipers on the side windows, and for very good reason. Spend a lot of time looking out through the side window as they're drifting their way round. It's Boccolacci's BMW who leads. Lafitte still second, 2.5 seconds back. Another 2.4 seconds back to Daziano. Manuel, Gervison, Ventaya and Lopez. Leader Dorian Boccolacci in only his second season on ice. He's normally a single-seater race. Oh, and trouble there. That's the second Mazda 3, car number 5. That's Philippe Bonsard. Looks like he might have tagged a back there and slowed right down. And he was under pressure from behind. The number 2 machine, Sylvain Poussier. Poussier's also tagged a snowbank. Look at the left front damage. Looks like he's got through though past Bonsard. Dorian Boccolacci leading. Is the gap to Margot Lafitte growing? Yes, another second on the last lap. And Daziano dropping back further from the race leader. Here's the battle between 10 and 6. Number 10 machine, that is Stefan Ventaya, with Gilles Lopez in the BMW behind him. So that's the squabble for 6th. Poor Marshals. Lupia Motor Racing Marshal, you do get close to the action. You get very close to the action sometimes when you're needed. But freezing, showered with ice crystals, you're either being boiled or fried or drowned as a Marshal trackside. Well, here is Boccolacci heading towards the final lap with a very comfortable advantage. Here we go, on to the last lap then, making this look very straightforward. Margot Lafitte, strong race from her in second place. Boccolacci is catching the tail enders at the moment. Daziano in third place, then the Moinel Gervison battle, that is for 4th. Oh, and Gervison goes through. I think Moinel's just pulled off. Looked like he was heading into the pits there at the end of the front straight. No such dramas though for Dorian Boccolacci. Margot Lafitte going to be on the podium here in second place in the Mazda 3. Confusingly, car number 4. Number 7 machine, Dorian Boccolacci, first of the BMW M2s. And across the line, the checker flag is there. He may well not see it, but I'm sure the team have alerted him on the radio. Debris everywhere. Very damaging race for a lot of the cars. Margot Lafitte in second position. And rounding out the podium, it'll be the first of the 2 Audis. So an Audi 3-4. Daziano inches ahead of Gervison. And look at all the damage on the cars. Ventaya's Peugeot and everybody else as well. And Dorian Boccolacci, predominantly because he could see where he was going, car still looks much as it did when it started. Well, it's been a good day for Dorian Boccolacci. Perfect, in fact. He won in the qualifying heats to the final and claimed the fastest lap as well. And that means he gets the biggest points haul. Margot Lafitte and the 2 Audis making up the rest of the top 4. Boccolacci then outscoring everybody else and winning the final, plus the extra point for fastest lap. It's a 62-point day for him. And that brings him right into contention in the championship. In fact, that puts him dead level now with Louis Gervison. So Louis Gervison, Dorian Boccolacci tied at the top, 12 points ahead of Lionel Daziano, who is 1 ahead of Margot Lafitte. Good and tight right at the top of the elite class. So the first day's action is done, and they'll go again for day 2. This is the first of 5 straight race weekends that lead us up to the grand final in Stade de France. Here is the podium then. Dorian Boccolacci, Margot Lafitte, who gets an extra trophy for being the top female racer, and Lionel Daziano. Poleman in the electric race is Christophe Ferrier, the multiple champion, taking the lead despite a good, strong challenge from Vincent Beltoise, the number 2 machine. Third place, Louis Gervison. As we saw with the elite class, these cars throwing up lots of snow and ice behind them, and that means the leader has a real advantage. This is perhaps the equivalent of racing single-seaters in heavy rain. Christophe Ferrier leading from Vincent Beltoise, and behind him Louis Gervison, number 5 machine. And behind the leader, everybody struggling to see where they're going. And particularly our guest drivers. TV host Stefan Plaza half spins his machine. Behind him, Karine Galli, the journalist, gets caught up and then drags herself off into the wall. Number 5, Louis Gervison now on the charge, works his way up to second place ahead of Beltoise and challenging leader Christophe Ferrier, the number 6 machine. These three pulling away now from Louis Rosset in the number 10 car. Nice close racing. TV host Stefan Plaza with another problem. The leaders go by though without too much drama. Ferrier, number 6 machine, negotiating the stranded car and heading towards victory. Not everybody else got through so successfully though. There's been a big sort out behind him, but heading to his 4th win from 4 starts, Christophe Ferrier takes the checkered flag, and behind him, out fumbling the others, it is Louis Rosset who crosses the line in 2nd place. Vincent Beltoise completing the podium in 3rd. Confirmation then, Christophe Ferrier, Louis Rosset and Vincent Beltoise, the top 3. And the top female driver is Clémentine Lost in 4th spot. Sacha Prost came through the confusion ahead of Louis Gervison, and then the 2 guests at the tail of the field. So Christophe Ferrier with a great score, dominating in practice and the final, plus the fastest lap, 37 point, perfect day for him. Vincent Beltoise, the best of the rest, ahead of Louis Rosset. So Beltoise now hangs on in 2nd place in the championship ahead of Rosset. That gap is growing, almost the same as it is ahead of Vincent Beltoise. Christophe Ferrier now nearly 20 points clear. He needs to have a bad weekend soon for the others to get a glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel. Podium featuring Christophe Ferrier, Vincent Beltoise, Louis Rosset. Top female driver is Clémentine Lost. And they are joined on the podium by our 2 guest stars, Karine Galli and Stefan Plaza there on the right-hand side. There's a busy old podium. 3 steps for 6 people. Qualifying heat results for the Elite Pro class, day 1 here in Isola 2000. This is round 3 of the 2018-2019 Trophy Andros, and it's petrol versus electric again. Olivier Panis, fastest of all in the Audi with a petrol engine. Frank Lagos is electric car in 2nd, and Nat Berton's Audi in 3rd. Let's get into the action then in Superpole. The top 8 go through, with multiple champion Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, winner of Andorra, carrying 60 kilos of success ballast. And that doesn't just affect the balance of the car, but it affects how quickly it accelerates and how quickly it slows down as well. The ballast will be added right in the centre of the car as low as possible to try and make the Renault Captur handle much the same. But weight is weight, whichever way you slice it. Well, Dubourg going strongly in the Renault Captur up at this stage as he flies around an Isola 2000 track that he knows very well indeed. Conditions really superb for the cars. Well, Dubourg on provisional pole. Next up is Olivier Panis in the Audi. Panis, the last Frenchman to win a Formula 1 Grand Prix, and the last man to win a Grand Prix for the Ligier team as well. Now, of course, with his son Aurélien racing not just in touring cars but also in the Trophy Andros, so it's a real family affair. And so far this season, Aurélien has had the upper hand in terms of pace. Didn't have so much luck last time out just before Christmas though. And Olivier Panis showing here that the old boy has still got what it takes. It's going to be very close at the line, but he is just behind, 19 hundredths of a second. Next up and sounding very different, the all-electric Andros Sport racer of Frank Lagos. Of course, another single-seater French racing star. Followed hot on the heels, really, of Olivier Panis' career. And again, the whole ethos of racing very different with these cars. The transmission works the same way, all four-wheel drive, four-wheel steer, the ice spikes and so on in the tyres, but the sound is very different. 8 thousandths of a second up on the Renault at the moment. Really pushing on Frank Lagos. Oh, getting in a little hot, too hot. Half spins, clatters the barrier. And Lagos across the line, out to the final corner, will be 5th. Nat Berton in his Audi. Races Audis through the summer in the World TCR Cup. Now racing Audis through the winter as well. So staying with the 4 rings, very different from his TCR machine. Berton drifting out a little wide. And again, like Lagos, really losing it in the final corner. 1200s back. Some way adrift. Oh, and in the final corner, it goes away for Berton too. Oh, 2 big slides. Nat Berton behind Frank Lagos in 6th. Benjamin Riviere next up in the Peugeot. Key to success here might be to go at about 99% attack. Oh, he was just too close to the apex there. Had to waft off the throttle a little. Allow the nose to drift past the snowbank. Locking the rear wheels under braking. Just to get the tail flicked out onto the back straight. Half a second down. At the moment, this could be good enough for 3rd or 4th. That's how he fares towards the end of the lap. That'll make the difference. Big pendulum effect right in the final corner, and in the end, 4 tenths back, and that leaves Benjamin Riviere in 5th position. Our top qualifier, although second in Superpole, Olivier Panis has more points than Dubourg and Lagos, who are 2nd and 3rd, both qualified reasonably strongly though. Nat Berton, though, dropping disappointingly down towards the tail of Superpole. Cars on the grid for the Elite Pro final, day 1 here in Isola 2000. Olivier Panis on pole from Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, Frank Lagos and Benjamin Riviere making up row 2. Nat Berton and Andrea Dubourg on row 3 of the grid ahead of Aurélien Panis and Nico Prost. That's an all-electric row. Here we go then. Olivier Panis makes a good start on the inside as well. Look at the green car. Frank Lagos up to 2nd place. Dubourg's Renault gets eased out and he gets nudged again. He's down to 4th place. Up into 3rd has gone Benjamin Riviere. And the Audi coming up the inside as well. Aurélien Panis trying to make a way through. On board with Jean-Baptiste Dubourg. There's the number 2 car. On Benjamin Riviere, that's 3rd. Frank Lagos, the lime green car, in 2nd. That's Dubourg's team saying that his brother Andrea is right behind him. Not sure what his answer was there, didn't get that. So Andrea Dubourg behind Jean-Baptiste. There's the battle somewhere in there. Do not adjust your sets. These cars with their 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steer and their 3-litre engines are throwing up a huge amount of ice. Olivier Panis leads from Frank Lagos. Benjamin Riviere in 3rd, then Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, Andrea Dubourg. Nat Berton down to 6th. And Aurélien Panis in 7th ahead of Nico Prost. So they did not get much of a start line benefit from their electric powertrains, not in the way that Frank Lagos did. Maybe Lagos was just a little bit better in anticipating the lights. On board then with Jean-Baptiste Dubourg. You can see how tough visibility is. Still your brother behind you. Sounds like he's pushing hard. Well, leader is pushing hard as well. Olivier Panis romping away with this. Looking for the extra point for fastest lap. Frank Lagos, Benjamin Riviere. That's 2nd and 3rd. There's Lagos, the lime green car, the Trophy Andros livery. Riviere right with him in the Peugeot. Team Tim Dubourg, he can just ease it off a little. His brother has dropped back. Not sure he's going to ease off particularly. The battle here, Lagos, Riviere, electric versus petrol. Quick message from Dubourg saying everything seems okay. And with the visibility, the team radio is really handy. Team just handing out the gaps to the cars behind and in front. Olivier Panis building up a big advantage now. 5 seconds clear of the battle for second. Lagos, Rivière. Lagos with the lime green, Rivière with the white roof under Peugeot. And Dubourg is not too far behind. There he is, spitting flame on the overrun. If these two make contact and lose a little bit of momentum, then Dubourg could be right in there with a shot at the podium. That's the team asking Dubourg to just take care of its tyres a little bit for day 2. He said there's no problem from behind, so just look after the tyres. Well, if the podium battle comes his way, I'm sure he'll take advantage, but right now, a little bit of strategy from Jean-Baptiste Dubourg. Nobody is going to catch Olivier Panis. 5.3 seconds clear with 2 to go. It's all about Lagos and Rivière, and I think Lagos might just be starting to creep away. And look at Dubourg though, if that's preserving the tyres, I'm not sure what the two in front of him are doing. I think he has points on his mind. Points on his mind too for Olivier Panis. Way clear. Franck Lagos now equidistant from the third place car, Benjamin Rivière, as Rivière is from Jean-Baptiste Dubourg. So Rivière right in the centre there. That's third place in the Peugeot. Dubourg is very close. Last lap. Olivier Panis 6 seconds clear. And Franck Lagos now just about out of harm's reach. He's going to have to commit some cardinal sin for Rivière to get close to him. Likewise, in the battle for third and fourth. Right behind though, good tussle on for fifth and sixth. Fifth, sixth and seventh in fact. But no doubting who has been in control here right from the moment the lights changed. It's been all about Olivier Panis. Absolutely flying away. Huge margin of victory for Olivier Panis. He wins the first of the finals here. Second, Franck Lagos. Third, Benjamin Rivière. And not too far behind is Jean-Baptiste Dubourg. Well, Olivier Panis missed the round in Andorra because of work commitments. Looks as though he is definitely making up for lost time. That is win number 13 in the Trophy Andros for the Frenchman. Olivier Panis, Franck Lagos, Benjamin Rivière are the top three. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg ahead of younger brother Andrea, then Nat Berton. They were very close to the line. And Aurélien Panis held off Nico Prost in the electric battle. So Olivier Panis then, with the top score for the day, ahead of Lagos and Dubourg, who just outscored Benjamin Rivière by a couple of points, courtesy of his slightly better qualifying score. And all of that means that there is a new points leader. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, the former multiple champion, sneaks 4 points ahead of Aurélien Panis, who took the points lead away to the Christmas New Year break. Franck Lagos in third ahead of Benjamin Rivière. Then Nat Berton and the second of the electric car drivers, former multiple champion Nico Prost. Well, that is how they finish day one. Day two could see that all change, but for now, our winner, Olivier Panis, ahead of Franck Lagos and Benjamin Rivière. Big smiles from our top three. That is how they finish day one in Isola 2000. Day 2 at Isola 2000, round 3 of the Trophy Andros, and it's the poleman in the electric race. Christophe Ferrier, the previous day's winner, who holds the lead ahead of Vincent Beltoise. Clementine lost the number 1 machine, top lady driver in 3rd place. Little on his own, Sacha Prost. Penultimate lap, and lapping the guest driver, Stéphane Plaza, is Vincent Beltoise in 2nd place. But as they head on to the final lap, 7 seconds behind Christophe Ferrier. Lost in 3rd, Gervasson in 4th, and there is the battle for 3rd place. The lady driver in the number 1 machine, Vincent Gervasson right behind her. Then the number 10 machine, Louis Rousset, he's not too far away either. But the leader is a long way clear, as he has been in each of the races so far this season. It's 5 out of 5 for Ferrier. The Elite Pro class is the creme de la creme of the Trophy Andros, and again for the 2nd day in Isola 2000 it's Olivier Panis who rises to the top, best in the qualifying heats ahead of Andrea Dubourg and Nat Berton. The top 8 go through into the Super Pole runs. Olivier Panis now carrying 60 kilos ballast, having won the previous day. Well, he wasn't quite able to grab Super Pole, despite being fastest in qualifying on day 1 in Isola 2000. And it might well be the same case now with an extra 60 kilos. That's very nearly a full-size passenger alongside him. Well, he's the man who sets the pace, but wide out there in the loose snow, and that is all drag, slowing the car down. Sideways is good, but you've got to keep on the clean ice and avoid the snowbanks. Engine howling as Olivier Panis wrings the neck of his Audi A1 Quattro. Out of the final corner, checkered flag flies. It's a 47.815. Panis 44.228 on day 1. That wasn't enough for pole. Next up, Olivier Pernot, 5th fastest through the qualifying heats. Loses a bit of momentum there at the apex. Needs to be a little smoother. Anytime the car comes to a halt in any direction is not good. See some sparks now coming off the spikes in the tyres, starting to work their way down through the ice towards the tarmac underneath. Narrow tyres with hundreds of inch-long spikes in them to give the drivers some sort of grip on this hard-packed surface. Nice smooth-looking style. That mistake early on is going to take something to come back from. Ahead of Panis at the intermediate, and across the line, 3800s in front. This is Andrea Dubourg, very strong in day 2 qualifying heats. Younger brother of the multiple champion Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, and in another of the Renault Captures. Again, just losing a little bit of momentum there in that tightening end to the long first right-hand corner. See how he's faring at the split time. Olivier Pernot was 1.2 seconds ahead of Olivier Panis, and then lost a lot of ground in the second half of the lap. With only 3/8 in front. 38 thousandths behind. This is very close. Tiniest of errors, or the tiniest of cleanups compared to Panis, will put him in front, and at the line, in the green by very nearly a second. That was a great end to the lap. Nat Berton next up in the 2nd of the Audi A1 Quattros. Ex-single-seater star has turned recently to sports cars, GTs and touring cars. Again, that lock-up just drifting past the apex. Seems to be keeping the momentum up though. So looking to go ahead of his Audi teammate. All's fair in love and Super Pole. If he can take an advantage, he absolutely will do. Still looking for the first win of the season, Nathaniel Berton. A 10th up. That's a good run so far from the Audi. Now let's see if he can keep the balance, keep the momentum up. Just fringing the snowbank in the final corner. Across the line he comes though. 3900s back. How did he lose that time? He goes 3rd. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, the reigning champion, in the 2nd of the Renault Captur. And he's got the number 1 on the door panels, as befits the champion. when we get to the season finale in Stade de France in 5 weeks' time, we will have a whole host of former champions as well as the current competitors, including the return of 10-time Trophy Andros champion Ivar Muller. That'll be worth looking forward to. Muller spends half a second down. That's not great from Jean-Baptiste. Muller spends a lot of his winter on ice driving courses in the frozen Arctic Circle, so he's still got plenty of ice time under his belt. And across the line, Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, 7/10 back, but still in third place. Andrea Dubourg then scoring highest in Superpole, and that just nudges him a couple of points ahead of Olivier Panis, who only got 2 points in the Superpole run. That Berton just 1 point behind Panis. Second day's final for the elite class, Dorian Boccolacci again on pole in the BMW. New front row man though, Sylvain Poussier in his Peugeot. On row 2, Louis Guervesson and Margot Lafitte, who started second on the previous day's grid. On row 3, Stefan Van Tyer and Lionel Daziano. And on row 4, Emmanuel Moinel and Joel Lopez. Away we go, Dorian Boccolacci in the BMW makes a good start. Right behind him, Sylvain Poussier in the Peugeot. Then the first of the Audis. From third place on the grid, Louis Guervesson with the green highlights. Margot Lafitte with the white roof. Bumping and boring behind 3 wide. Down the inside, Joel Lopez looks like he's elbowing his way through a number 6 BMW. He does indeed. So his M2 from 8th on the grid shoves his way through into 5th position. All's fair in love, war and first corner action, you have to say. Dorian Boccolacci again, like everybody has been, throwing up huge clouds of ice crystals behind himself, and that's making life very hard for his pursuers. He's already pulling away from Sylvain Poussier's Peugeot. Margot Lafitte in 4th place, trying to chase Louis Guervesson in the Audi, but she's dropped away very fast on this opening lap. Guervesson 2.3 behind, Lafitte another second and change behind him. Then Lopez, Van Tyer, Daziano. Margot Lafitte in 4th place, closing a little bit on Louis Guervesson. The Audi looks like he spun Guervesson there at the left-hand hairpin. Now, how is that going to work its way out? We've got great onboard pictures with Dorian Boccolacci. Shows just how good a view he's got compared to the sea of ice crystals he's throwing up for everybody else. Now he needs to focus on really keeping the show on the road here. It's going to be hard for anyone to pass him. He's just going to make sure he makes no mistakes. 2 laps down. Dorian Boccolacci leading from Sylvain Poussier. Where's the battle for 3rd place? Who comes across the line? It's Lafitte ahead of Guervesson. So Guervesson on the first of the left-handers that the leader's now coming to. Half spun the car. Margot Lafitte got by, and look, there's Guervesson with the green highlights on the Audi. That's the battle for 3rd. So Louis Guervesson recovering his composure. Margot Lafitte, though, in 3rd place. Daughter of 70s and 80s Grand Prix ace Jacques Lafitte. There is our race leader, Dorian Boccolacci from Sylvain Poussier. Here comes the battle for 3rd. It's still the master of Margot Lafitte in front, the number 4 car, and the number 3 car. So Louis Guervesson in the Audi, all over the back of the Mazda. Unable to find a way by. Well, Louis Guervesson giving it away there, and Dorian Boccolacci's got to make sure he doesn't do the same. A double race winning weekend would really help him. BMW's been getting stronger all season. Sylvain Poussier right with him. Here's the battle for 3rd. Lafitte on the inside, and that is Daziano around the outside in the Audi. So where's Guervesson? Right at the tail. Oh, contact. Lopez in the number 6 BMW hits Lafitte, slows her right down. So Daziano has escaped in 3rd, then Lafitte in 4th, Joe Lopez in the BMW in 5th. Lots of excitable radio traffic. Ooh, it's all action behind as well. Moinel and Van Tyer, but that means that Lionel Daziano is up to 3rd place now. And then Lafitte, Joel Lopez, and with the green highlights, Guervesson. So Dorian Boccolacci leads from Sylvain Poussier. The 1-2 remains as it was, but look at the big gap back to Daziano in 3rd, Lafitte in 4th, Joel Lopez in 5th, And there is the BMW with Gervasson in the green highlighted Audi right with him. Contact, Stefan Bonsard, the number 5 car. And car number 10, that's Stefan von Tyre, the Peugeot. Contact between them at the tail of the field. They continue racing on. Much less car damage in today's final than there was in the first days, but they have to keep them alive for the Elite Pro drivers. Final lap for Dorian Boccolacci. Looking very much in a class of his own. Sylvain Poussier now nearly 3 seconds behind. Boccolacci's really got the flow of this track superbly. BMW gets its power down nicely, and he has been error-free, particularly helped by having good visibility in front of him. He's catching Stefan von Tyre. Flags are waving, but I'm not sure he needs to worry too much. Von Tyre not going to hold him up in front of Sylvain Poussier. Through goes the leader. And Stefan von Tyre doing a good job to stay out of the way. Dorian Boccolacci claims victory. Flying through the back markers, Sylvain Poussier in second spot. And the local man who was born nearby in Cannes, Dorian Boccolacci claims his second win of the weekend. Sylvain Poussier second, and in the end, it was Lionel Daziano who finished up on the podium ahead of Margot Lafitte, Joel Lopez and Louis Gervasson. That was all arms and elbows in the battle for third place. Gervasson giving away more places and points than he needed to. As a result, outscored by 11 by Boccolacci, who topped the points after qualifying the final and taking the fastest lap. Sylvain Poussier, Margot Lafitte second and third. Dorian Boccolacci is our new points leader by 11 from Louis Gervasson. That second final cost him dear. It would have been a lot tighter. What a great weekend for Dorian Boccolacci. 2 wins, a huge hatful of points and the series lead. Tops the Day 2 podium ahead of Sylvain Poussier and Margot Lafitte, who's had her best weekend of the season so far. Two-wheeled action, Trophy Andros Round 3, Isola 2000. For the motorcycles, this is the super final and the whole shot for Vivien Dabert. Third and fourth in the season opener in Andorra, behind his brother. Loses the lead at the first corner though, and in front is Germain Vincenot. Vivien Dabert in second place, 4-time champion, the reigning champion. Maxime Emery, the number 11 machine, in third early on. Closing stages, and Dabert versus Emery. Emery goes inside, outside, inside, cuts back underneath Dabert. Contact between the two of them, very close indeed. Emery with the inside line tighter, gets his nose in front. A little bit of a block pass as he moves up into second place. Multiple champion now trying to make his escape. Behind the red headlight, 76 is Vivien Dabert. And then the yellow headlight, that's the number 37, brother Sylvain. And behind him is Vivien Gonnet, the number 4 machine, who won both races in the season opener in Andorra. They didn't race in Val Thorens. Brothers, as ever, ultra competitive. Vivien Dabert, 76. And now ahead of Sylvain on the 37 machine. And chasing Emery. Couple of laps in which to try and get it done. Sylvain Dabert with a yellow headlight. Maxime Emery in second place, the leader way over 8 seconds out front. And the longer this battle rages, the bigger the lead will become. Lap 9 of 10. Pressure from Sylvain Dabert on the number 37 machine. Really trying to fight his way through. Last lap. Leader working his way through traffic there, the red helmet, red machine number 14. Vincenot wriggles through safely. Here he comes then with the red helmet. Back markers behind him, that's suitable protection for him on the final lap. 8.9 seconds in front though, doesn't seem that he needs it. There is the leader, still more traffic in front. No point in over trying now, just a couple of corners remain. Checker flag is waiting. Germain Vincent will take his second straight win. There he is at the flag, quick dab. Second place will be Maxime Emery. And a huge moment for Sylvain Dabert. Finishes in third. Vivian, his brother, in fourth. And Vivian Gonet in fifth. Well, there is your happy winner. And the podium. Vincent on the top step. Emery and Dabert complete the top three. And funny enough, Germain Vincent does look like it was hard work. Well, he scores top points ahead of Maxime Emery and Sylvain Dabert. He won the final and then the super final as well. And that means that he has got a very handy points tally from the weekend. 2 wins and the perfect score of 60. 10 ahead of Maxime Emery, Vivian Dabert and Vivian Gonet in third and fourth spots. Gonet struggling a little bit earlier on in the day though, didn't do too well in the final, and as a result, although he still has the points lead, the gap has narrowed to just 2 over Germain Vincent, who's got a better all-round average. They've got a pair of wins apiece. Maxime Emery just 9 points back, and the Dabert brothers not out of contention either. Elite Pro Super Final grid, and it is Andrea Dubourg on pole position ahead of Olivier Panis, the Race 1 winner. Nat Berton in the second Audi and Olivier Pernot in his Mazda on row 2. Then the reigning champion Jean-Baptiste Dubourg in his Renault and Aurélien Panis the first the electric cars ahead of Nico Prost, Benjamin Rivière and the rest. So will the electric car of Aurélien Panis get a good start this time? Here we go. No, the yellow car does not get away any quicker than the others. It is the poleman Andrea Dubourg who has the lead. Olivier Panis in second, Nat Berton in third with the green highlights. Aurélien Panis, the yellow car, on the outside. Fifth position, trying to take fourth for Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, but he gets sideswiped into the wall on the inside. Dubourg using the racing line between the 2 corners and gives Panis nowhere to go. Andrea Dubourg then leading from Olivier Panis, Nat Berton, Olivier Pernot, then Jean-Baptiste Dubourg and Aurélien Panis. So it is Dubourg, Panis with a couple of cars in between them, Berton and Pernot. At the end of lap 1, it's Andrea Dubourg from Olivier Panis, Nat Berton, and then Pernot in fourth place, not too far behind. There he is with the white and blue. Then Dubourg, Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, the number 1 car, Aurélien Panis and Benjamin Rivière right with him, with Aurélien Panis then. So this is the man in 6th position. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg just in front of him, the number 1 machine. Driving style is identical, still very sideways, 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steer, same tyres and same studs, but of course very different noise or lack thereof in the car of Aurélien Panis being fully electric. Electric motors driving the front and rear axles. So they don't have a petrol engine or a fuel tank, but the big battery pack underneath compensates for the lack of other grubby bits. Andrea Dubourg out front, still from Olivier Panis, the grey Audi with the red highlights, then Nat Berton, his teammate, the grey Audi with the green highlights. Fourth place is still Olivier Pernot in the Mazda 3, throwing it around, looking for third place if he can get it. And Nat Berton is going to take some unlocking from that, I think. There's number 4 car, little drift there, got in very hot. Out front, Andrea Dubourg still with the lead, still with Olivier Panis right with him. Sunsalok Racing Team watching as the Audis run 2-3. Nat Berton in third place. Words of encouragement from Olivier Panis from the team boss. 2/3 distance, and the order remains the same. Aurélien Panis, the yellow car, still really under pressure for 6th place, but hanging on board with Aurélien Panis. 5th in front, 4th just visible, and 3rd. This is a very close race indeed. Visibility not as bad as it was on day 1. Still not great. That's why there are wipers on every available surface. Windscreen and side windows. And Olivier Panis there in the ice storm behind the race leader Andrea de Bourg is doing everything he can, keeping the leader very honest. It's the smallest margin first to second we've seen all weekend in any of the categories. Panis again getting in a little hot but looking for the traction off the corner. Andrea de Bourg closes the door, gets the car to stop and then turn, and Panis can't get through in that little S's. But Olivier Panis using all of his expertise, all of his tricks, some of them from ice, most of them from tarmac. And he is really pushing hard. Penultimate lap, and still Andrea de Bourg hangs on. Panis could easily just overrun a corner and nudge the leader out of the way. I'm not sure that's the way he wants to do it though. Fantastic stuff. Everybody is glued to the action. Olivier Panis right with Andrea de Bourg. A little touch between the two of them, not enough to unsettle the leader. Last lap. Andrea de Bourg has got to hold on here. He's resisted the pressure from Olivier Panis all the way through. And it looks as though he's just about got enough. The Renault is as nimble as the Audi in the tight stuff and as quick in the quick stuff. Panis with one chance, a lunge in the final corner, but that's not going to happen, I don't think. He's not quite close enough. Andrea de Bourg has enough in hand. It's going to be very close, but it's victory for Andrea de Bourg. Olivier Panis in second place, Nat Berton in third, Olivier Pernot across the line in fourth place ahead of Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, Aurélien Panis in sixth. Well, first win of the season for Andrea de Bourg in the Renault, Olivier Panis in second place, Nat Berton in third, then Olivier Pernot in the Mazda, the second Renault of Jean-Baptiste Dubourg ahead of Aurélien Panis, the first of the electric cars. And the points for day two, Dubourg with the most from the qualifying and also 16 for winning in the final. Fastest lap, in fact, went to Nico Prost, who finished last in the final. So that adds to his points tally. But Andrea Dubourg coming out with the big point score from day two. Brother Jean-Baptiste is still our points leader by 5 from Aurélien Panis, but the gap opening up behind Franck Lagorce in third place, now 29 behind, leading a very tight chasing pack. It could all change in a week from now as we go racing again in Serre Chevalier. For the meanwhile, though, here is our day two podium. Andrea de Bourg, Olivier Panis and Nat Berton. We'll see you with all the action next time out in the Trophy Andros.